Hi guys, I hope all is well. Welcome to the third recipe of my matcha black sesame series. If you've watched the other videos in this series, thank you so much for sticking around. If you're new, don't forget to check out the other videos in this series. Today we're going to be making mini matcha black sesame chiffon cakes. These are super cute and a single serving each. They have a super fluffy and moist matcha chiffon with black sesame whipped cream sandwiched between the layers. If you're intimidated by decorating cakes, do not worry. These are super easy to make and decorate. And bonus, they are also super flavorful and delicious, and you'll be wanting more than one cake at a time. So without further ado, let's get started. So I have two bowls here, one medium-sized and one larger bowl. The first step is to separate your egg yolks from the whites. The whites will go in the smaller of the two bowls. I like to separate the eggs with my hands because I feel like I have the most control this way, but do whatever floats your boat. After you've separated your eggs, set your yolks aside. In this bowl, I added about a quarter teaspoon of cream of tartar. This will help stabilize the egg whites so we can beat them into a nice stiff peaked meringue. Now I'll take my hand mixer with the whisk attachment and beat these whites until bubbles form. Then you'll add 35 grams of sugar in thirds, whisking completely in between each addition of sugar. After you've added all your sugar, just keep mixing until you've reached stiff peaks. Besides the visual appearance of a stiff peak, I also like to check whether I have stiff peaks by flipping the bowl over and making sure the whites don't move at all. I know, risky, but this is my sure way of knowing I have stiff peaks. And typically, I like to flip the bowl over my head too. Anyway, after you've reached stiff peaks, you can set these aside and we'll work with the yolks now. In this bowl, add 45 grams of sugar, and again, with the whisk attachment of your hand mixer, beat the yolks and sugar until your yolks lighten in color. This typically takes about a minute. Here I have 80 grams of milk that has been warmed in the microwave. To it, I'm adding 50 grams of oil and just mixing with a spatula. Then you'll add this to your egg yolk mixture along with a quarter teaspoon of vanilla extract. Just give this a mix until just combined. Now, sift in your dry ingredients, which consists of 95 grams of all-purpose flour, 10 grams of cornstarch, 3/4 teaspoons of baking powder, and 7 grams of matcha powder. I typically don't have cake flour on hand, which is why we're using this combination of all-purpose flour and cornstarch. But anyway, fold this mixture until just combined. Now for the final part of the batter. Let's take our egg white mixture and fold it into the rest of the batter. I like to do this in 2 rounds, but just make sure that you fold this mixture until it's just combined so we don't deflate too much of the air we beat into our egg whites. This will ensure that our cake is light and fluffy. When your batter looks good, pour it into a 9-inch by 9-inch cake pan, and we'll bake this off at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 17 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted into the cake comes out clean. Then allow your cake to cool completely. While the cake is cooling, let's make the simple syrup and black sesame whipped cream. It calls for 2 parts of water to 1 part of sugar, and for this recipe, I'm using 6 tablespoons of water to 3 tablespoons of sugar. I like to use hot water so my sugar dissolves quickly, but just give this a stir until all the sugar is dissolved. Then set this mixture aside to cool. Now onto the whipped cream. In a bowl, add 400 grams of heavy cream and whisk this until you start seeing bubbles. Then add 25 grams of powdered sugar and 40 grams of black sesame powder and beat this until you get stiff peaks. And there you have it, a super simple and fragrant black sesame whipped cream. Let's get to cake assembly and decorating now, shall we? First, I'm cutting off the sides of the cake to make sure we have clean cuts. These are also a great snack while you're decorating. Then, I'm leveling the cake. This is probably the hardest part for me because I don't have a cake leveler, so I just go in with a knife. I typically get uneven sized layers, but just give it your best effort. At the end of the day, the cake will still taste amazing. After, I've cut these cakes into 9 pieces to get 9 small cakes, but feel free to cut these into any size you want. You can even leave it as one large cake. But after you've gotten your cake pieces, we're going to drench them in simple syrup. This is the secret to cakes that will be moist for days. You're going to want to use all of your simple syrup, even though it may seem like your cake is going to drown. Just trust the process here. Now it's time to assemble. For each cake, I've also cut off the brown bits on top to give them a cleaner finish. For decorating, I've just fitted a piping bag with a small round tip and am piping a border. This way, you don't have to do any crumb coating. Then, add the cake layers to the tops of these, and there you have it, an assembled mini cake. To decorate the tops, I've fitted my piping bag with a small star tip, and I'm just piping a random assortment of stars. But feel free to use your creative juices here and decorate your cakes however you like. Finally, dust your cakes with matcha powder, and there you have it, your mini cakes are now finished. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more recipes in the Matcha Black Sesame series. If you've made it this far and have watched the other videos in my series, comment the matcha emoji. Or the tea emoji, I'm not sure, it's the teacup one. Please leave a comment if you try this recipe. Thanks again, and until next time.